A student planned to unalive me while I was their teacher. I'll tell you all about it while we make chicken meatballs. Let's get into it. This recipe is so easy and delicious. It is one of my husband's absolute favorites. So to start, we're gonna add 1 pound of ground chicken to our mixing bowl. The day started out like any other. I had a short writing prompt on the board that the students would answer in their journals, then they would show it to me, and then they could head over to the computers. Next, we'll crack 1 egg, and we're gonna throw in 1/2 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. You can add unseasoned, but I like seasoned for some extra flavor. As I'm walking around the room to check out everyone's journals, one student in particular does something really strange. Now we wanna add 1/4 cup of pasta sauce and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. This student decides that they aren't going to show me their journal. And they walk over to the shelf instead, put their journal away, and they start to walk very slowly towards the computers. Seasoning time, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, pepper, and then 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Last but certainly not least, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I remind the students that they need to show me their journal before they can log on to the computer, but they completely ignore me. So I walk over to the shelf to grab their journal. And the next thing that happened caught me completely off guard. It's time to get our hands dirty. A little fun side story. When I was little, my grandma used to make meatballs by hand just like this. And I would stand there and I would watch her and I would just gag at the sight of the raw meat, if she could see me now. So the next thing I know, this student comes up behind me very fast and grabs this notebook out of my hands. Now keep in mind, I am 9 months pregnant at the time. And I didn't know that they were behind me. So when they do this, I stumble backwards, I almost lose my balance, and I almost fall. With our meat all mixed up, we're gonna roll these into balls and place them onto a pre-greased baking sheet. So I like my meatballs on a little bit larger side. So this is gonna make about 12 meatballs. Being that I'm 9 months pregnant, I do what any hormonal pregnant woman does. And I completely freak out. I just start screaming and crying. And I'm yelling at them, "What are you doing? Why would you do that? Who do you think you are? I almost fell. You could have made me get hurt." I run over to my desk and I call security and I tell them to get out of the classroom. Meanwhile, all the students in my class have also witnessed what just happened. So they also start to scream at the student. So before you know it, my classroom just erupts into complete chaos. With all of our meatballs on the sheet, we are going to pop these into a preheated oven at 375 degrees for 20 minutes. While those are baking, we are going to grab a baking dish and we are going to just cover the bottom with a small layer of pasta sauce. We don't want a lot, just enough for our meatballs to sort of continue to cook in when we put it in the oven. Security comes in a few minutes later and escorts the student down to the office and they get sent home for the day. But this student is mad. Very mad. They feel like I embarrassed them for yelling at them. They're mad that I had them sent home early. And so they want to get essentially their revenge on me. So they come to school the next day with a plan. Our meatballs are ready, so now we're going to arrange them in the pan. So the next day, this student is on the bus and they are talking to another student. They decide that they are going to tell this student all about their plan. And they open up their backpack to show them the surprise that they have for me. We're gonna pour the rest of our pasta sauce over the meatballs, then we're gonna cover it in mozzarella cheese. The surprise was a sharp weapon. The other student gets off the bus and they go and they find a trusted adult. Security ends up escorting this other student out of class. They search their backpack and sure enough, they find a sharp weapon. Now, in order to protect the student's privacy, I'm not going to go into all of the details, but let's just say it was very clear as to exactly what their plan was. We're going to cover this with foil, and then we're going to bake it again for another 20 minutes. After that day, I never saw that student again. And it was months before I actually found out what happened and found out all about their plan. Admin never told me, security never told me anything. Given that I worked and lived in the same community, it would have been nice just to have been given a heads up had I ever ran into this student outside of school. But that would have made too much sense, you know? Into the oven. For some weird reason, my husband hates spaghetti. He says it's too much work. So I usually serve this with pretty much any pasta other than spaghetti. You can use whatever you like. Looking back, I am so thankful that that other student found a trusted adult and told them what was happening, because who knows where I would be now, what could have happened had that student not done that. We're going to get a little bit of the sauce. Okay. This is such a quick and easy meal. And it's so delicious. I'll see you next time for more cooking and chaos.